Hello, welcome to another episode of Mothership Gear. I'm your host, Spencer Ildefonso. I am the co-owner and creative director at Ildefonso Inc. And today we have my friend Spam here, who is a music video producer, a director, and a singer-songwriter. And Spam, you brought in the modified Fender road-worn 60s Jazzmaster. So yeah, why don't you tell us how long you've had this guitar?
Yeah, so I got this guitar in maybe 2018, I think.
Rad.
I wanted to get an electric guitar. I'd had just like a Squier Stratocaster for a long time, and it was a really great starter guitar, learner guitar, but I was way past it and had been playing for records like on my friends' guitars. So I was like, I want to get just my baby, So
Nice.
That's what this guy is.
So what made you decide on this guitar as your first kind of like guitar you're really excited to own?
Yeah, so I'd been shopping, and the look has a little something to do with it too. I landed on Jazzmasters because they have like a lot of tonal like options, but they're also a little bit vintage. I really like kind of 60s, 70s music, so it was like that seemed like a cool place to go off of. And then also one of my guitar heroes is Nels Cline. He plays with Wilco, so there's a lot of like crazy, like really unique solos that he's done, like on Impossible Germany. Is kind of
I love that
one.
guitar solo.
Yeah, and it's something that you kind of like can't do on a lot of other guitars because the way that the whammy bar works on this, it's like all of his vibrato in certain areas is not just from his fingers but from the whammy in a really unique way. So that was a big driving factor, and the uniqueness of its look, and I think the uniqueness that it's not a Strat or whatever. So I sort of wanted something that was just a little different.
Yeah, Strats kind of come with a lot of popularity, and so there's a lot of guitars that we think of when we think of Strats, but I don't know if there's one single Jazzmaster guitarist. Maybe the closest would be Kurt Cobain, and I don't even know if he plays a true Jazzmaster.
Yeah. Kurt's I think was a Jag, which is similar. I think the guitar heroes Nels Cline's not the most famous guitarist ever, but he's very, very respected in the community. Another big Jazzmaster guy is Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. I think is the band. If I say that wrong, I'm gonna feel silly. But he's sort of one of the big Jazzmaster proponents. It's really and you know who else? Costello.
Oh, Elvis Costello.
Elvis Costello is a Jazzmaster.
Yeah, they're great kind of new wave guitars, along with 60s surf, garage. So what exactly is going on with this specific model?
Yeah, so I had been looking for a while, and basically among Jazzmasters, there's Japanese Jazzmasters, is sort of cool for people. I mean, basically the Jazzmaster was a guitar that wasn't super adopted in the 60s when it was first built. They were actually the higher end of the guitar thing. Like Strats were the cheaper model, and then this was supposed to be like a premium model, but a lot of people couldn't afford it, and they just wanted the regular deal. And it was supposed to be marketed more towards jazz musicians, and they didn't pick it up. They were using their hollow bodies, and they were happy. Like jazz musicians are like, I just plug it in and I'm good. So it sort of fell out of favor, and because of that, a lot of these indie artists, like from the 90s and stuff like that, picked it up. They gravitated towards it because it was like kind of cheaper at a pawn shop, because people were like, I don't really know what this is. And so they were like Elvis Costello's story, and I think Nels Cline's was both that they just sort of were like, I don't know, it was an option, and now they've kind of come back into popularity, and they're not so cheap. And Fender's also reissued them a couple times. So this version was like a mid-tier kind of version. The road worn, so it's like relict and stuff like that. But there was a guitar collector that had owned this guitar for a long time and done a ton of modifications on it, that were all modifications that I would have done if I got the guitar. So I was just like, saves me a lot of trouble, because one of the problems with the Jazzmaster is the bridge. I haven't had one of the old bridges, but like the way that it's designed, sometimes the strings will jump out of it, so you get weird, and then you'll also maybe get weird intonation stuff. So there's this bridge on it called the Mastery Bridge that is kind of the catch-all solution, so you can really get good intonation out of the bridge, and the strings will stay in place, and they'll play well with the whammy if you're using the whammy a lot. So you know who else is a huge. I can't believe we didn't mention it, but the guy from My Bloody Valentine. I might need you to. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but yeah, My Bloody Valentine, like that record. I'm a pretty big retro guy, but that's like my big '90s record because he's making like a warble in the music, like a pitch bend in the whammy. Usually you'd be using a pedal or something like that, but he's does this very rhythmic whammy sound, like a warped cassette or warped tape. So I was also really curious about how to make that tone.
Yeah, no, they're great guitars, and I love the way that they look and the way that they sound. So from the website, they say that this is a 1960s style with aged-worn body, neck finish, and hardware touches. Maple neck with C profile, and it has a dual single-coil American vintage 65 Jazzmaster pickups. Is that and that's all stayed the same, or you changed it?
That's all different.
Okay,
sort of. Right. Yeah. So the guy that I got it from switched to Seymour Duncan Antiquity 1 pickups, which are supposed to replicate like the 1950s or 60s pickup.
That's right.
So it's a little bit like a higher end model than the ones that came with it, that shipped with it. Also the neck came like kind of sanded down in a certain type of way, and I played it and I was like, no, this feels great. I mean, I like the idea of a guitar that's just not like brittle and brand new and plasticky. And I think the whole legacy of the Jazzmaster is it's a hand-me-down and that sort of thing. So I was sort of excited about that, even though it's like, I like my new things too, but it was sort of fun that way.
Yeah, so did you know this guitar collector, or is this someone you found online, just happened to be selling it?
Yeah, I'd be shopping all over the place, and I found like one that was like owned by a bassist, and he didn't really, well, I'm a bassist too, but he didn't really play it. It was just hanging on his wall, and it was like kind of in disrepair. So that one, but it was a nice one. It was from Japan. And then there was one that was like one of the newer models, and it had like noiseless pickups and stuff like that, which is nice. It's nice not to have the 60 hertz hum, but it was like more expensive. I kind of went through so many different ones, and then I finally found it on Craigslist, and the guy was just real chill, and I think that was part of it too. I was like, sometimes like buying something can create a relationship. Like that's one of my favorite things with gear. It's really silly, but like I'll have friends that are like, you seem really happy today, and I'm like, yeah, I just like sold a pedal. But it's not about selling it. It's about like talking to another musician and having like kind of like, oh, they're going to get something out of this. You know, they're going to use it. I loved it. Now you'll love it, or vice versa. So we just had like a really fun conversation, and he plays on a lot of cool stuff and made a friend sort of.
Yeah. So why don't you kind of show us how the pickups sound and the different patterns and all that?
Yeah, totally. So there's actually a ton of patterns. The main situation is this guy right here. So I got like this is my other mod that's real stupid, but my first name's Paul, and so or my second name anyway. My name's Paul, so I got less Paul and more Paul switch for the different
pickup. I love
that. So the more Paul switch is the bridge pickup. You have center pickup, which runs them in parallel, which actually makes a humbucker. So if you do just the bridge, it's not a humbucker, it's a single coil. It's kind of both of them, so it doesn't have hum, and then you have the neck pickup here. So I think I like just I mean, I love the warmth of the bridge, and I think that's also traditionally what people would use in the 90s with their sort of shoegazy music. Like it's a very popular shoegaze guitar. So that's kind of but they'll be like, I don't know. And then the middle pickup, way brighter, right? And then you got the neck I use the bridge. Wait, did I say that backwards? Oh. I might have done that.
I always get them confused.
Yeah, so the bridge pickup I use maybe more for lead. But so let's see. So we got bridge, middle, like way brighter, way more
totally
open.
Different sounds, yeah.
Yeah, because also I think that the bridge just like distorts more. It's just a hotter. Because even if like every single time, so I like it for the leads, because then I just kind of get this automatic lead, and then in the middle. So
yeah, that's crazy. That is really interesting.
very different, right?
Yeah, is that specifically because of the modifications that the previous owner did, or is that typical of a Jazzmaster?
You know what? It might be because there's mystery to
Yeah.
it. I think it probably has to do with how it's wound. I also have the bridge pickup up pretty high. It's closer to the strings, so in the middle, it's not going to be as hot.
You know who the other, I think it's a Jazzmaster, is he has an artist signature with Fender. He plays in not them Crooked Vultures, but the other band.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Troy Van Leeuwen.
Yeah.
I looked at his signature. It's tight because it's like kind of premium. It's like a dark red.
Okay.
That's really cool. Yeah. And he's a great guitarist. Very, very cool. I think Troy. I mean, I love Queens of the Stone Age. So they were another thing that kind of pushed me towards it. Yeah.
So
there are more pickup things. I don't know if you want,
no, let's hear that.
This is the weird thing. So this is called. There's the lead pickup, which is what I showed you and what most people are using. But then there's also the rhythm circuit, which is a different circuit.
Wow.
So you do this switch up, and then let's see, I have it. So I use it usually as a kill switch. So I have it just totally turned off, and then I can. Well, here I'll show you that. So I have it on my lead pickup. So that's just a fun thing that you can do while rocking out. But the rhythm pickup was supposed to be for the jazz heads, and it's warmer, like really maybe too warm, for some stuff. But and then it has its own little volume and tone knob.
And what are you running through on the pedal board to get this sound?
This is literally just let's see. I've just got a cab sim for a Vox amp right now.
And who made the simulator?
I'm using the Iridium by Strymon.
Oh, nice.
It's there's other ones that like maybe do more or whatever, but I actually just prefer the simplicity of it. It has basically like a Fender, a Vox, and then a what's the big one?
Marshall,
yeah.
Nice.
So it just has Fender, Vox, and Marshall. And for somebody who's kind of into retro tones and not doing like metal, it's perfect because I think other ones might get like harder, But I find that a lot of the times less distortion, you can be heavy with less distortion, and
totally.
So I like those tones.
Yeah, so besides the amp simulator, what kind of pedals do you often pair with this?
Well, I like to get freaky, so with all the sounds. So, I might test on like a little reverse reverb or reverse delay. And then I usually use, dirt of certain types. I really like how single coils work with fuzz. So I have like this is like a tone bender style fuzz, and then all the pickups sound different with it. And then so this is kind of basically the neck I always like with fuzz. But yeah, let's see what else we got. I play. I think live I always have like a little bit of slapback. And then this
what are you using for the slapback?
Yeah, this is a Therme by Chase Bliss. It's does 90,000 more things than slapback. Slapback's like the least that it can do. But the tonality of it's just so nice. They're like real chips, and then they kind of have like you can do like a little bit of a modulation to the repeats, so it creates like a. It's like a wah wah.
What do you mean by real chips? What does that mean?
It's got like it's not a fully digital pedal. They call it, or they say it for a lot of their pedals, analog heart but a digital brain or something like that. I think that's their
interesting.
That's their ad copy. But yeah, so it's got I think it's the same type of Bucket Brigade chips that a Memory Man would use or something like that. But then it has like all these digital modifications that you can do. So you can also like let me do this real quick. You can slow it down a ton, and it'll kind of, the way that the chips it's stretching. I don't know. I'll just play it. So here, actually, I'll turn up the repeats. So the repeats will get really like crunchy if they're super slow, because it's going past the I don't know the technical of it, but it's going past like what the chips can do. So you hear how, I'll do it again. You hear how there's like noise to it, and it's kind of like crunchy and kind of falling apart a little bit. Yeah, so I'll just sit in my room and listen to repeats all day, but but I usually just use it real fast, so, or even faster. Anyway.
So then, besides the modifications that he's done, have you added anything on top of it besides the more Paul and less Paul?
Yeah, I did the more Paul and less Paul. I switched. So basically, he had these. So if you look at the original one, it's got like a white pick guard. It has white pickups. It has white all of these in the hardware. So I made this hardware match because it was white when I got it for this arm.
Where'd you get the part for that from?
I got it. I think I just online, like on Amazon. Yeah. I mean, it was just like, it was kind of bugging me because it was white over here and I just wanted it all to match. So, which is silly. This arm, I can't think of what it's called, but this trem bar is special too. I think it's a little bit longer. And then I worked on the whammy section to try and make it so that I could do the same type of stuff that, who's the guy from My Bloody Valentine? I don't know. We don't know. It'll come to me right after. But anyway, so yeah, I was just trying to do the same type of stuff that he was doing. Because if you have like a ton of distortion on it, and then you got like reverse reverb, let's see. Then let me show you. But anyway, that's why I needed to set it up a certain way. Let's see. There we go. Then let's see. I might change the gain stage of it a little bit, if that's okay. Just to give the idea. I'll turn it down first. So like for shoegaze stuff, you're maybe like, we want that off. Like that kind of like weird. It's like just a wall of sound sort of thing. So I was trying to get the trem bar to be able to do. Was it? Kevin Shields. Yikes. Couldn't think of it. Thank you. That's his name. So yeah, I was trying to do the Kevin Shields thing for a bit. Let's see. Did I do any other mods? I think that's it. I just kind of. Oh, you know what? I added some strap locks.
Oh, nice.
I like it because I switch guitars on stage sometimes, so it's just nice to be able to just switch it real fast. You kind of just pull the button. It's not because I'm like flinging it around or anything like that. So
is this kind of your main guitar when you're playing live?
Yeah, this is my main. I mean, I do really like the 12 string, so I always try to bring it out a little bit. But it's just more reliable to have a 6 string, and it's not as like super unique. So yeah, I use this for live and recording a lot. I mean, it's very versatile because you've got kind of it's not a humbucker. Basically, the pickups are just Jazzmaster pickups. Like that's what they're called. A lot of people think they're P90s, but they're Jazzmaster. But because you can have them in parallel, you can turn up the gain a ton, and it's not going to just be like noise. Or you can get noise if you want to. You can get like very surfy rock sounds. I mean, that's who really did launch it a little bit. It was the Surf guys.
Yeah. Did the Beach Boys ever play Jazzmasters?
I think I looked it up, and I think that there's some pictures with them.
Okay.
With them having
Interesting.
It, yeah. But definitely the Ventures, so like a lesser.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard of the Ventures. Yeah.
Very fun.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah.
And then, so amp-wise, if you were to like live, are you using the Blues Junior, or are you using
Vox AC15 usually, yeah.
Sweet.
I like it's smaller than the AC30, so I'm not breaking my back.
Yeah.
It distorts earlier, which is kind of fun. But I can get a clean sound with the stage volumes that we need. So.
And what made you choose? Is there a tonal kind of advantage that you feel you get with the Vox with this guitar?
Yeah, I mean, so what's cool about this guitar and just kind of the antiquity pickups and stuff like that and the way that it has so many weird little pickup configurations, is that analog distortion or overdrive type stuff sounds really cool. So the fuzzes and everything like that sound really cool. Like if I'm just dialing it in, this is more for recording, I would say. But the Vox amp, like the overdrive on it that I can get, and it'll sound totally different depending on which pickup I get. It's just like, it feels like an instrument in its own way. So That's why I landed on the Vox.
Sweet. Well, I love that. Thank you for bringing this guitar. I'm really intrigued by the sound. And yeah, it sounds like the guy who set it up and sold it to you kind of knew what he was doing, because it sounds really special. It has a cool mid-range, and I think the way you're using it with the fuzz has a really cool warm kind of feel to it. So yeah, it's a great guitar. Thank you for bringing it. And that's all we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Where can our audience find you?
I'm on Instagram as Spammers.
Sweet. All right. Well, then, yeah, you guys can find us at ildefonso.co or check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Ildefonso Inc. So we will see you guys all next time. Thank you so much. Bye.